Okay, hello. I tried to stream Marvel Rivals earlier because I was supposed to stream at 7, so I was thinking to myself, hey, why not stream Marvel Rivals at 7? But my computer laptop can't handle it, so I definitely need to invest in like a PC. I've been thinking about investing in a PC for a while. Let me make sure. Okay, audio is good. This time I set up basically everything before I started the stream, so now you don't see me like getting distracted on Twitter or something. Like usual, we'll start with MTG Arena. Just let people give people a chance to trickle in before I start the story. Hold on, there's a funny meme on my phone. So I'll just do a best of 3 again. I'm gonna try to pick a little faster deck just because I realize if I pick flash decks or whatever, or more control decks, I think they didn't drag out too long as far as getting setup goes. Black and white spells. If we're lucky, maybe we can get to like 30. I would like to get to 30,000 or something by the time Edge of Eternities comes out, because I'd like to be able to draft as many times as possible, but we'll see. Ideally, what you do is you draft, you get enough gems, and you spend those gems to unlock the premium battle pass without paying any money. And then because you have the premium battle pass, you get more money and more gems, which lets you draft more often for the duration of the season. Which is why I would encourage learning how to draft in Magic the Gathering Arena, because you can get a lot of easy, like, free shit very easily, or not easily. Drafting, I say like drafting is easy. Drafting is like a skill you've got to learn. Sometimes you just get shit on, but Fnatic of Ronus. What do I want? Barbarian. This is probably not a good idea because we're probably playing a bit slow because they're probably trying to ramp. Because they can thing with power 4 or greater, it's going to be a pain in the ass. Which they could. Okay, it's just Nissa. She doesn't make plant tokens, which is annoying. We will play. So we have two options. We can bump the night into Skewer the Critics. I think we want to bump in the night. The reason being we can cast one of our cards in the graveyard. Do that through. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have sent both at Nissa, but I was afraid they'd just like jump block one or block with a Fnatic of Ronas. We might just be better off trying to like kill them directly, quite frankly. Whenever creature control power 4 greater enters, draw a card. That might be a pain in the ass depending on how this goes. Also, they activate. Oh, that's 4 mana. I haven't seen Nixlos in a while. I used to run Nixlos as one of my janky it was like a janky Esper deck when I was new to Magic. Sika, the god of the tree. So what are we working with? Bump of the night. What do I even got? Oh. Um. This might not be a good idea, but this probably was a bad idea. I was thinking we just maybe I just sort of song with Dreadhorde Arcanist. I'm thinking I just get them as low as possible and try to get them to block something. Well, that they are low. We could potentially, depending on what we draw here, it could be big, but we also might just get our face kicked in. Railway Brawler. I'm not sure if the movie makes sense trying to be a tree, to be honest. That's probably like my question flavor wise. It's kind of funny, but God, that card is so fucking funny though. Okay. What do we even got here? Up in the night. We might just have to cast Luris and then have Luris just run in. Because the only way I see us winning this is if we meet the threshold cost. And then... It gives a game, though. I think we're one off from the threshold cost. Threshold cares about... What does it care about? 7 or more cards. Yeah. If I hadn't sacrificed some of my cards earlier to cast. Yeah. The only way we meet threshold is if Quarry Steel Cutter gets destroyed. And our tokens don't go to the graveyard permanently, so... Okay, we'll cut. Because I think we just want more creature removal. We just want to go crazy on creature removal, right? Here, Skullcracker, Disruptor, Flute. Honestly, maybe cut a Quarry Steel Cutter for a bump tonight or something. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe I should just pass Dragon's Rage Handler first, but I figured might as well hope for the prowess or something. Elvish Mystic, fine. Okay, next turn we can cast Dragon's Rage Handler and then like a Skullcrack or something. It looked like they missed a land. We might just win because they got fucked on land here, but... Survey a little bit. What do we got? Pyroclasm. We might honestly might just want to take that. It might... Maybe that we shouldn't take that because it kind of kills our Dragon's Rage Handler. It does... I think we just keep swinging and then if they... Yeah, they're getting mana screwed. I feel kind of bad. I kind of don't like. I feel kind of bad getting a game like this where they're just getting mana screwed because, especially since they won last time. I'd like to think I rotated my sideboard in and out effectively, but Manowar Tribe is a crazy card. 2 damage. Okay, here's what we can do. We can play this, cast Pyroclasm, activate Prowess in response. Just put that into a graveyard, and then no, I wanted to respond with Searing. Oh, I wanted to put Searing Blood there so I could. So it would prowess up my Dragon's Rage Channeler, so it would be big enough not to die. But whatever, that thing dies. Rip. Maybe we keep the Corey Steel Cutters because they're kind of crazy. Maybe we cut a Dreadhorde Arcanist. I'm only keeping this so we have left to stage. We can try to play the fire until left to stage. It might not be the best hand to keep. This is like way too many lands. Not enough cards. Ugh. Okay. I didn't like that because we choose between the Land of War Elves or keeping this to try to play lab to stage next turn. I'm just hoping we get like something 1 mana or something that can proc Spectacle here. Okay, that's pretty good. Never punished. We'll keep that. There's 1 mana and it'll help boost another creature. Okay, that's not good. I would prefer something that was both playable, not just land. That's right, I got Swift teaching. What's it to you? I wish you would, bro. Come on. What are you gonna do? Kind of gonna counter it? Because you in mono green of all colors? Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, that's good. Cool. Okay, we can swing and then prowess and then trample over if they choose to block. Yeah. Oh boy, this is gonna be painful. Her untap is kind of crazy. Don't underestimate it. Because she can like tap for so much mana. She can untap something and get you so much mana if you have like something crazy on the board. Which means I probably have to try to kill this. Maybe I should have run the graveyard hate. I kind of didn't think it was a big enough deal to care. Because I thought we could just pull ahead basically enough. Because we're not putting it directly into the battlefield. But we'll attack both. We'll use Play with Fire to ping directly. Maybe I could have just hit Kiora, because then it would have been more threatening. Actually, this is good. Now we just have to removal. We can just exile into that and remove it. Interesting, they let me hit that. Maybe I could have just killed it with Play with Fire. Right now, I'm thinking they don't have a lot of card draw right now. So we might just be able to pull ahead here. Destroy Kiora. Kiora. Okay, luckily you don't have a ton of creatures, so... I could play some big cannon and try to draw. I think what I want to do is I want to play... Oh, they quit. I was going to Pyroclasm, kill those, and then just swing, and then maybe... I think that would have been it. That was a good enough game that I think I'm going to head right into the story in a good mood and read the story. Forgot to bring my water, I think. Fuck. If it takes too long, I'll have to go get my water. I forgot to bring my water up here. Take this though. Has anyone thought about doing like a voiceover for the animation they gave you in here? Hold on, can we bring the animation back up? Has anyone thought about doing a voiceover here? Conflict erupts in Sothera. Over the fate of a dying star. A squire of the Sunstar Free Company. Hunts a void worshipper. Two enterprising scoundrels. With a stolen artifact. Search for a safe harbor. With no shortage of enemies. From the nihilistic monoist to righteous solar knights. The greatest danger might be what they're carrying. Who they're carrying it to. Or who they're carrying it to. I mean, given that the last side story we read had like a corrupted artifact that was tainted by chaos, or like the weft, or whatever you want to call it, it's pretty interesting, especially since we have that context. Anyway, let's get to the main story. Let me turn off my night shift. I don't know if you guys can even see it on your end, because I swear I watch videos and sometimes it's just not there, but Act 3, Revision 11, Caveron that is. Tan, do you ever get the feeling that something really, really good is about to happen? I'm not sure I can answer that question without violating human taboos. Tan is flying to Siriema. I need overthrust authority. Sammy gave Tan C overthrust authority 10 minutes ago. No, not like that. I mean a feeling, like a premonition that our fortunes are looking up. Oh, Tan says thoughtfully, like the opposite of anxiety. Hang on. I mean, that's a nice way to put it. Yeah, opposite of anxiety. The ship screams, proximity. The Siriema explodes sideways, jittering to starboard, and then it explodes back to port in an equal and opposite moment of violence. Sammy bounces against the straps, hooting in delight. 1,000 gigaton piece of a shattered planet, 7 kilometers across and tumbling, flashing past the Siriema at 9 kilometers per second. Its the closest approach is about 2 kilometers. If it had tumbled differently, it would have hit them. Except for the constant clatter of the Siriema's plasma magnet. The silence of the passage is absolute and obscene, like a sniper putting a bullet the size of a mountain right past your ear, and you only notice when your friend shouts "Mountain!" Me playing red when I'm playing mountains. But also, plasma magnet's interesting because plasma is like charged. It is like a charge. It just have like a charge, so it can be affected by magnetism. So, a shrieking, wailing, sobbing alarm erupts from the Siriema's flight computer, begging the fools flying it to make better choices. Sammy knifes the master alarm reset up and down with a satisfying snick. It feels like operating a guillotine, decapitating the danger. It's great. Sammy does it again. The Siriema plunges stern first through the Modrain ring toward Caveron. That is, and a stasis cast held their prize. I think the ring is what's keeping like Caveron that was from like being crumbling fast as quickly. The great thing about the Mordring, Sammy tells, I'm gonna just double check that. I don't know why I'm just gonna say stuff and then not double check it. Whoops. But yeah, it's the thing that helps hold the tectonic plate together. For Caveron that is, and a stasis cast hold their prize. The great thing about the Mordring, Sam tells Tan, is that it is mathematically impossible to figure out where these giant rocks are going to go without a computer the size of Sothera. I don't know. I'm assuming that's like a exact. I don't know if that's an exaggeration or not. I'm taking it as an exaggeration because the Sothera is like that'd be pretty big. That'd be like bigger than a planet. You like explain things that I already know. It's not about what you know, Tan. It's about the fact that it's about what the facts make me feel. I like thinking about how the laws of the universe are set to protect scoundrels. It's interesting that they're both red aligned and they're both like scoundrels. Like, yeah, I guess like some like like devilish scoundrels like messing, like ignoring the laws or using the laws to like that would does make sense as red aligned. And it's very clearly like, I'm not saying Sammy is just Han Solo, but it's very clear it takes inspiration from like a scoundrel archetype, like Han Solo, like roughing it out in the galaxy. It would be a shame if someone turns Sothera into a giant black hole computer, Tan says. It put all of us ring-running outlaws out of business. Oh, Sammy says, yeah, great point. The radio fuzzes back into reception, temporarily cleared the big rock's noise. Siriema, Kmntrac. This is pronounced Cayman Track, and it is the voice of the Caveron Memorial Navy officer that's assigned to guide them. You are off track. Emergency pounces you. Thump down. I guess that does match up with what we know of like the cab and like how they kind of operate by like putting themselves on the ground to sense. I'm not saying this is what they're doing. I'm saying it might be like a bit of terminology based on like their behavior of like laying down on the ground to feel vibrations to the ground. Um, I believe we do have a Navy commander. Type Cavu. Boop, boop, boop. Here's Tonak, steadfast second. He almost looks wider in this one. I don't know how much of that is because maybe it's like a warping effect. I'm not aware where it's stretching him out a bit here. I thought we had like a Navy. We have a Memorial Team leader. I thought we had like a specific Navy, legendary Navy guy, but I'm probably just misremembering. As a sign to guide them, you are off track. Emergency pounces you. Thump down. The Cap don't use Vise to run their flight control. Whoever got the bad luck to talk the Siriema into a landing, she will probably never make it as a proper living Cav, and one who doesn't and one who hasn't had much practice speaking lingual low labial Simer either. You must think it's funny when people try to speak their language. It's like a baby, maybe. Is that why Sammy thinks it's funny? Because Cav on the radio sounds like a giant baby. That's so mean. Tan, do you think humans only find things funny in ways that ultimately tie back to our evolutionary needs? It's a very very complicated question. Tan, Jeff coughs on into the microphone. One of these cab noises Sammy always finds themselves mimicking in the shower, and belts out a string of cod pilot that Sammy can roughly follow. Listen, we're fine. We're doing something we shouldn't, and I appreciate if you just lose track of us. If we die, we die. Not your trouble. Wait crime and you we kill your relatives. The voice on the radio says, marking you beyond help. Worst of luck. Robbers out. Basically saying if we catch you doing some shit where you're fucked. But I mean, have fun. That's us. Sammy says halfway from the metal man with Sigma stolen doom in our hand and way beyond help. And who'd know better than a cab, Tan? Who'd know better? They spin a camera to admire the view. The Siriema plunges forward. So it's interesting that they have like a camera on the ship to look around, which just makes sense. The Siriema, this is something I bring it up because it's like one of those things that they may not always mention in sci-fi stories. So it's very interesting watching like the writers care so like deeply about the world building and like how stuff works. Even though it's like a world full of magic and wonder. Like having a camera like in your spaceship just makes sense because obviously you can't see in every direction and space is like a three-dimensional space in which something can hit you from any direction. They spin a camera around to admire the view. The Siriema plunges turn force towards Caveron, but Caveron isn't there anymore. Caveron 2 is beyond help. Ooh, so this is an interesting card art. Let's see if we can find it. It looks like a red card. I'm feeling red on this one. That's my guess. Wants to put money on it. Bombard. Where is it? Could be green. Looks like artifact destruction of some sort. You might just have to. You. What's your deal? It said it was on this profile, but I'm not fucking seeing it. We can go by we can go by artist though, right? Roman. No. Roman. This might be unused card art again. This isn't the first time I think we got card art that just wasn't used. Roman Kutenikov. Maybe they can post it on Instagram if it's public. I don't think they used it. Yeah, I just don't think the card either hasn't been put on Scryfall or they haven't used it yet. But anyway, clearly like like it seems like, I don't know if it's the space elevator we've already seen. This could be the Eternity elevator falling. I don't know if it is. It could just be a space elevator, but it's very interesting. Obviously, like the focus, it feels definitely like an instant or sorcery card, like something that's like the creature isn't the main focus. It's like this. The creature feels like it's mostly here for scale. Like this cav or whatever is mostly here for scale, just to show how massive this like thing is flying. Like they're not the main character. They're not rendered like a ton of detail. It's just like a cloak. We don't see their face, etc., etc. But here we have like this massive like space elevator falling down, and it's very interesting. Like these lights, like they're iridescent, like they're different colored. Since I can't see the card itself, I don't know what that could mean. Maybe as we read, it'll make more sense. But here we have this space elevator breaking and falling, and I don't have like a ton to say like this. Like again, very interesting. It's like highlighted like in light, but also like in shadow, to bring like to kind of like little glowing bits, but also like like this painting in some ways. I'm not saying painting is easy, but in some ways it's very simplistic. Like there's not like a ton of detail in certain areas, but the way it's rendered is just so like evocative. It helps give the sense of like scale and what's happening. And the reason it doesn't have much detail isn't because like a lack of like effort or a scale on the painter, but obviously because this is really far away. It's a really big object, so you wouldn't necessarily catch everything, ever see a little every little bit. And like what it's like, be like if you paint a tree and try to paint every single leaf like all the time, like you wouldn't really see every single individual leaf until you get closer, because like just how the human eye works from a far enough perspective, it's just like a clump of green that you identify as leaves. Like there's smoke bellowing as it falls, which helps give a sense of direction. Like this, like the smoke is coming out in this direction, so that way you know it's falling this way. In addition to the fact that it's just literally leading that way, then something's exploding out here. I'm very curious as to what this is, since the last story we read, we just saw something like an artifact that when they like walked away, it made like a basically explosion that fucked up things nearby. I get the vibe this is a red card just mainly because red cares most about artifact destruction, but I mean it could be green, could be other cards. It's very interesting. It's a very interesting choice that if it is a red card to have this kind of like iridescent color, like yellow and stuff, because like you think like a lot of explosions just tend to be like red or orange to convey that. Like surely we can check. Like here, like fiery red. There's some override, rest are like it just uses like a lot of red and orange. Maybe the idea is that's like more just like bright orange, like see plasma bolt, bright orange and red. Really, where there's Nebula Dragon and Nova Hellkite, and they look very different. This looks more. So this is like very weird. This is very like this is clearly like more of like a serpentine dragon design, and this is like more like a stereotypically Western or European dragon design. And this one's made of like Nova shit, and this one's made of like looks like physical stuff. So I'm very curious about that. I remember someone I think made a joke about this where they're like, I think what happened is they asked for Nebula Dragon, someone gave this, and like his art's so good we gotta have a card about that. And they kept Nebula Dragon. But I don't know, this isn't necessarily like a contradiction within the lore. It could simply be there's different types of dragons, especially since we know that there's like stuff in space and stuff at planet side. So it could be that even though this can traverse space, maybe it's born planet side and this is like more like cosmic shit. Who knows? Also, that's really cute. The ruin tore the planet in twain. Caveron before is still almost half a proper planet. It has an atmosphere, sultry, and a cycle of day and night. If not for the moldering overhead, the constant white scratches of meteorites in the sky, and the nearly as constant flash of lasers boosting the debris into higher orbit, you could fool yourself into thinking you are on an ordinary planet orbiting a dead star. As ordinary as you can get orbiting a dead star. So Caveron, that is before, that's like it's like basically the safe zone. Like they built like a little like ring to help hold the planet together in one area, but the rest of the planet's like crumbling. So if it show me Modrain, take me back. Well, like that would be Modrain down there, I believe. Caveron, that is, though, it's the true Caveron, the broken Caveron. Every day, a little more of a Caveron crumbles away and joins its opposite, its fate. Caveron, that is, that's the missing half of the planet. It didn't get blasted away into space because of all the power of the ruin. It takes a lot to divorce the pieces of a planet from each other. It's a loose pile of rubble, slowly being crushed down under its own gravity, then bouncing back as provinces of rich uranium and moxite collapse and exploded chthonic nuclear weapons with yields capable of lofting entire moons into orbit. During the ruin, the fire of the planet's broken core flashed through all the cracks and lifted entire subcontinents into heaven. So the planet is definitely like aligned red, mostly red mana, it seems. Probably because the Cav lived there, but also just because each of the planets seem to be tied mostly to like one color, just like because Magic loves its like groups of 5. Like because we have the planets, we have a black, a blue, a red, a green, and a white planet. And if you actually look at them in order, they actually are in rubric order. It's just that white's placed in the middle, and then we start with black. So then we go from furthest from closest to furthest. We get, that's a very interesting card. We get the black planet, red, green, white, and then blue. We have Cameron, and it's very interesting that like it's clearly very so. Red has a very strong association with rocks and the earth and also fire. And the reason for that is because in traditional like Greek and alchemical belief systems, there is this idea that like earth and red tend to be more like basic elements in the sense that they're more connected to like base emotion, like symbolically. And this is what's represented in red, because red's all about freedom through actions. It's about following your heart and like not fighting your emotions, just working with your emotions. So the idea is like instead of rejecting like or trying to fight against your emotions, you work with them, and then hence the rock and the fire, which is definitely represented in a card like this, where it's very heavily emphasizing that this is a rocky planet with like it's being blown asunder, and also tons of fire. And part of the reason fire is used like this with red is to show how volatile it is. Like your emotions can come in suddenly and quickly and hit very hard, so it's kind of convey like the suddenness of emotion. So that's pretty interesting, and you can see that motif with all the planets. Like black tends to be associated with darkness, and it's close to the black hole, so you have this black void so I can get in, and blue with like the sky and water, for the same reason that red is associated with earth and fire. It's that blue and air tend to be thought of as higher elements in like a lot of classical forms of thought. So it's like the idea of that like blue is like, oh, I'm above, I can become above my emotions, I can control myself. And then green, obviously, there's like there's obviously a big emphasis like on the forest here. And then where'd the white planet go? Oh yeah. And then again, this planet, like there seems to be like an emphasis almost like on light and gold, like gold, which is often a motif of white for its own reasons. They crash back down still. The planet's defensive lasers, the guns of Caveron. Wait. Yeah, they crash back down still. The planet's defensive lasers, the guns of Caveron. Keep those lightning chunks from crashing down on Cameron before us. They crash down on Cameron that is instead. As a pitted moonscape with a hurricane sky, a shattered vault of wonders. What happens if you take Sothera's richest world, crack it in half, and mark the other half off limits for mining? You still have Sothera's richest world. So yeah. Also, once again, there's emphasis on like the earth and rock here, with like Sothera being like the richest like mineral wise. So a lot of emphasis on the earth and rock here with Sothera. And that's where a movie or dynamation, the sky outside would be a slow crash of enormous rock, glaciers of stone shattering themselves into lavishly rendered dust. But all those collisions finished decades ago, and they were never slow and dusty. A mountain striking a mountain at orbital velocity looks like two bullets kissing. Rock flows like molten glass at those energies. So interesting. Also, once again, it's a red line planet, so they're really emphasizing the fact that it's very mountainous, which we know is a basic land type that is connected to red. I'm just thinking. So the idea that like they're saying it's mountains flying at you, both helps with scale, but also like helps convey that maybe this is a very red planet based on like Magic the Gathering's language. Now, my personal headcanon is that even though there's basic lands, I like to think that the basic lands are representative of ley lines, and that you could potentially have like a mountain with a blue ley line, and just don't do it in Magic like at all, just because it'd be confusing. That's my personal headcanon. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not trying to spin that as fact, but that's in my head that would just make the most sense. Where it's like, okay, Magic exists as a game, so the mountains all have to be red, but in universe, it wouldn't surprise me if like there could be a blue lined mountain or something. It's just that most the ones we're seeing are red because we need those for ley lines. The surviving debris in Sothera's orbit has been winnowed down to a series. Oh, I forgot to mention. Last time I also mentioned this. Caveron feels like it takes a lot of inspiration, for example, from like Mars, specifically like in its red color. Like if you look at its surface, it's like it has like a red coloration. That's probably, I assume, created by iron and stuff, just like Mars. So visually, it takes it looks like it takes some inspiration from like a sci-fi Mars-esque situation. What an interesting alien, a lizard artificer. So once again, this is also emphasis that there's more species than what like the major ones that they cover. Like there's clearly like lizard people and like other aliens, not just the Drix and whatever they mentioned in the Planeswalkers guide. Oh, that's a really cute robot. So if you want to make an OC on the Edge, you don't have to be restricted to just what they say in the Planeswalkers guide. You could make up your own species. The surviving debris, which I'm thinking about because I was making my own sci-fi fan plane, and now that this is out, I might just merge it and make it a Sothera fan system. The surviving debris in Sothera's orbit has winnowed down to a series of almost structured waves, groups of commoving the kinetic barracudas, ropes and walls of rock. When you look into the Mordrain ring, you see ranks and ranks of twinkling stars marching rapidly to war, and when they collide, there isn't dust, there's shrapnel, white dwarf bullets spreading until they hit atmosphere and become a long scratch of extinction. You might think Caveron shattered and would freeze all the dust thrown up into the sky, blocking the sunlight, and so they're dead too. Yeah, because basically they don't have the stars, so like you'd think everything would go cold. But Caveron's atmosphere is constantly heated by a tropical sweat, by the burnup of re-entering debris. So once again, also, like I said, red has a strong connection to fire and magic, and especially heat, just in general. For the same reason, heat often just generally is also connected to motion, like the saying, like, oh, this makes my blood boil. That's a very, like, using heat to convey a strong emotion. And in contrast, for example, with a lot of blue cards, there's a connection with like ice and coolness. And coolness is like usually associated with like a lack of volatility and a lack of strong emotion. Like, oh, you gave me the cold shoulder. It was emotionless. Oh, you're cold. Like, oh, you aren't very emotional. So once again, a lot of like basic symbolism in Magic the Gathering. Like Magic the Gathering, I don't think is a very subtle as far as the color. Like it's very heavy-handed, mostly because it has to be because of the game. So it tries to leave like no room for confusion. And this often gives it like a sort of like a lot of specific like archetypes it likes to rely on, especially for the 5 colors. Like red tends to be fiery and the hot, and like if it's a red line place, it's probably gonna be a hot place, it's probably gonna be volcanoes, it's probably gonna be sweaty, etc., etc. So leave it to the Cav to live on a world heated by the constant discharge of orbital shotguns into its own face. And if you're a scoundrel like Sammy, the heat is always welcome, because nobody can track you through the Mordring. You get shuffled back into the deck. Nobody can follow you here. Tan says tremendously. I'm doing voices now. Tan says tremendously relaxed. Just so you know, there's a fighter following us. What? Sammy screeches. I like to think like their voice is speaking. Like what? I don't know. Like they sound like they're going through puberty for some reason. Hoplite Warmaker following us down. Is this really a good thing? Is this really a good thing that was about to happen? Sunstar shit. So I'm wondering again. Second time I think they said shit here, but I'm wondering. And I think the first time they said shit in the main story. Second time they said shit in Magic the Gathering in general. The first time was like in the side story. But I'm wondering. So since we have the context of the side stories, and we know that it seems like they're like some of the stories are converging, this is probably the one that Halia is on. I wouldn't be surprised. And there's another ship chasing the hoplite. Monolith, Sammy guesses. Are they mad enough to risk the guns? Nope. Pale Star, free company patrol ship. The thing buried in Sammy's chest wakes up. That good feeling goes away. Sigma's reach was like this, wasn't it? Before they landed, there was a Pale Star, but it didn't detect them. It didn't launch its hoplites to pursue them. They got down and got away clean. They must have launched the hoplite to check us out. No, Tan says. They're trying to shoot us down. What? The Pale Star is firing lasers at the hoplite. The free company is trying to shoot down their own fighter. Well, we know that last Aphrael, they were in a hoplite, I think last time, or some sort of fighter, some sort of Palatinate fighter last time we saw that, so that could be what's happening here. Tan coughs, and in a gesture of infinite relaxation, takes both hands off the controls to tug his hair horns. Look, like we're not the ones. Look, looks like we're not the only ones trying to get down to Caveron to escape our troubles. So I assume basically a hoplite is from Aphrael, trying to make it to Cav to escape both the Monoist and the Palatinate. And what's happening is the Palatinate, it was like to the Angel, you let that guy go, and they went to go chase after him. And it could be also the Monoist also are chasing. Sammy calls up one of Siriama's spare beacons from storage and loads it into the sling. The ship's general purpose mass driver. This particular beacon has a demolition charge in place of its transmitter. They pick out an incoming rock. I'm gonna blow that chunk into its buddy. You ready? Also, there's definitely like a vibe of like this, the Han Solo like inspiration, in the sense that it's a common trope that like there's like these scoundrels, they don't have like the best ship, like it's an old ship, and it's something that you see a lot, especially with like the Millennium Falcon. Like this idea of these scoundrels, and it's like they have like this old ass ship, and it may not be the best, but goddamn, it's a reliable ship. You're going to blow chunks, all right, Tan says. Brace for erratic overthrust. Oh, I should brace. I was born to space. You sure that you can handle it? I was born to handle it. No, you weren't. You just say that because I laugh. Correction. I was trained for years at a Caveron Memorial Navy to pilot the Mordrain Ring and do battle with wildcats and raiders who come to pillage the ruins of my homeworld. I was not born to handle it. I was extensively conditioned and practiced. Shout out. Sammy calls. Tan relaxes. A target rock is coming nearly straight at them. The beacon nails it, and explosives go off fast enough that the sheer speed of the collision doesn't have time to crush them into uselessness. The rock exhales, blasts its legs, jets off its track, and collides with its neighbors. Both rocks shotgun into Siriama's vector like a razor octopi. Sammy slash in the restraints starts knifing the master alarm override up and down once a second. Tan watches the radar display with one eye, and the ship's vector display with the other, flies them through the glittering blast. This is another like nice little detail, is that the Cav are definitely give off like a reptilian vibe, even though they're not lizards specifically. So I like the idea that maybe like kind of like a lizard, they like maybe. And we also know that they tend to like see the other side of their head a bit more. Like they're not like humans have like eyes more in the front of their face and they look forward. And I think the idea is the Cav are like more sideways, so they have more of a blind spot in the middle, but like they can like see in different directions easier. So I do like that. I like that detail of like that's part of what makes Tunic a good captain, or a good pilot anyway, is the fact that he can like kind of like pigeon eye shit and see something with one eye and something with the other eye. Him and reaction time to it, touch you miss, is 150 milliseconds. Cav can break the 20 millisecond barrier when avoiding oncoming objects, and Ten really has trained his whole life to do this. Their closure velocity is 15 kilometers per second. The Siriama falling out of space at 7 kps. The debris orbiting the opposite direction at 8. Tan can afford to notice debris that's 15 kilometers and 1 second away from killing them. Then spend 40 milliseconds steering them out of the way, and still have 24 spares perceived react cycles to clean up any problems. Sammy would get 4, maybe. I love you, man. Tan the man. Tan says, let's not get cute about it. I'm not cute. I'm the man. I love this fucking guy. Oh my god. Wait, hold on. I think there were some memes I saw of like, maybe after I finish reading the story, I will show some memes I've seen people post. In case anyone is not aware of the Magic the Gathering Eternities memes. They lose track of the hoplite behind them as they make re-entry. Altitude 128 kilometers, Tan reports. Re-entry's interface. Altitude 120 kilometers, Tan reports. Re-entry interface. Velocity 6 kps and falling. Approach max heating. Plasma magnet steady. Sam exhales hard. They decelerate past the tower of volcanic clouds. Uranium and moxite blown up from deep within the dying planet, ionize the surrounding air and spawn constant purple lightning. Okay, Tan pushes back from the controls. We are in Caveron deep atmosphere. Raiders deployed in airfoil. You have the ship. I have the ship. Told you I'd fly her down to Caveron. Tan says with perhaps a whiff of pride, mordering and all. Start looking for your old cache. Do you need to transmit? Yeah, my old what do they call it? Cayman recognition howl. The cache should call us back and tell us if the stasis cask is intact. The problem with caching things on Caveron comes from the fact that it's constantly falling apart and exploding. So caches tend to move. The atmosphere is also dire for signals, but it helps to have a fission reactor powering your transmitter. So basically, I think stuff gets like lost in the particles and stuff. Howl, return, Tan says softly. Are cache calling back? No, there's something else down there. Sammy looks up from the situation display. Who? Memorial team. The Cayman Tomb Guards. They might be headed for the same old cache as us. I'm sorry, I'm probably gonna stop doing his voice for a second because I don't have any water and it's really hurting my voice now. So I'm gonna stop for a second. Sammy looks over carefully. You can't look too directly at a frightened Cap. It makes them feel like they're trying to hide, like they're trying to hide and failing. Tan lulls boldness in his restraints. The return signal wails on the cockpit speakers. Tan, do they know it's you? Yes, Tan says. They do. Oh. They get a return from the cache itself a moment later. Sammy hits the weather lidar one last time, grimaces at the result, then cuts the Siriama into a slow bank south and west. Ghosts of Caveron's old provinces race beneath them, transfigured by ruin. Names Sammy really should learn out of respect. The Siriama's inspectoral telescope sets off a whole potluck of alarms. I assume this means you can see on multiple spectrums, like wavelengths. I assume we can see on multiple wavelengths, is what it's saying. Something bright and hot plunges down from space. More, Tan swears. The Hoplite. It's coming in. A pillar of fire bursts at the volcano clouds beneath them. The Siriama's displays paint. The Siriama's display painted a hideous poison violet. It's a hypersonic shock of plasma, an unnatural intrusion, a spacecraft firing its fusion engine in the atmosphere. The result is a warring thermonuclear fireball, a constantly detonating atomic bomb. The Hoplite War Maker comes arrowing out of the sky at insane velocity, plummeting through the radiation and hellfire of its own engine burn. It heads straight for the only navigational reference it has, the radio beacon on the fractured world below. Tan's old cache. Oh, walls. Sammy groans. The hope light. I wonder, is Sammy changing? I guess walls is the chaos and quiet wall. The hope light descends on its plume of disaster, blow torches the cache site with its huge, with its suicidal engine burn, and splatters into the rock. Oh, it's probably Apparel was probably doing that because remember he was subject to the he was delaying like the momentum from when he hit the Dawn Sires, so he's probably trying to move as fast as possible, just so when he hits it, the momentum would move in the opposite direction and hopefully cancel out. The cache homing signal squawks, it goes out. Fucking Apparel. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go drink a water. It'll be like not even like 5 minutes. Sorry about that. My dog had to go out, so I had to stall. Oh, had to go. My dog had to go to the bathroom. Okay. Where were we? Hold on, I was running back and forth. I have asthma. I take my breath. Revision 11. Well, let's just check. Well, I'll take my breath. Just see how Twitch is doing, just so I make sure I don't check Twitch enough. All right. Sammy sets the Seriema down on a plane of flood basalt. So stone's blood spews up from within cavern that is, then raked with glass dust by the endless catastrophic storms. It trembles with quake, fins of volcanic glass, napped into obsidian knives by the wind, stab into the sky. It is a geological star tissue. So one thing you'll also see with red, because of its association with heat and earth, is associated with volcanoes, obviously, and magma. The volcanic rock makes the most incredible, satisfying crunch underfoot. Looking up, Sammy notices the rows of volcanic clouds are city towers. Sothera's unlight comes down through crevices of open sky to print glowing roads on the stone below. The clouds exchange cables of lightning. They set out for the cache. Tan bellies down on the ground occasionally to feel things out. He can feel the rovers driven by the caveman memorial team, maybe 15 kilometers away, headed the same way. Tan, Sammy says, if the pilot of the ship's still alive, what will your people do to them? For firing a fusion engine in the atmosphere? That's weight crime. They'll probably kill the pilot on the spot. There's not much law here, Captain. Permanent state of emergency is the euphemism. We should, no, not get involved, not go herring off after a stray, not put Tan at risk by getting near the people who exiled him from this world. So Tan's in exile, which is interesting. I wonder what he got exiled for. We should take a look, Sammy settles on, see if there's anything we can salvage. That's a hoplite, Tan, a collector's item. I can't imagine any way this is a good idea. Well, I'm imaginative. Tan's still down on his belly, grabs 2 clawfuls of black volcanic soil. Captain, if they take me, there's not much law out here. Basically, he says he's just saying he's dead if they catch him. I won't let them hurt you, I promise. Sammy does keep promises. But yeah, especially with, he's got the idea of like promising to protect his cat. But I've got it. It's very clear that promises are very dear to Sammy. But I've got to know what's going on with the ship. It's weird, Tan. Why run from your own people? Oh, wait, this is Sammy. But I gotta know what's going on with the ship. It's weird, Tan. Why run from your own people? Why follow us to the ring? Then crash ass first into the wrong side of the planet? Is the pilot a fool? And why does Sammy feel a sliver of fear beating behind their heart? The fool is going to die of radiation poisoning, Tan says. They came down from inside their own radioactive fireball. Not if we can get to them soon enough. Captain, we have the answer to all our troubles back on the Seriema. The Metalman's artifacts. We just need a stasis cast lock it up, and we can give it to him. We can fix the ship. We can hire a crew. Don't go borrowing more trouble. The pilot needs help. Captain, this isn't the worm speaker. That's not Miri. Sam doesn't mean to be so sharp, but it comes out sharp. Are you asserting that you want to make a decision, Tan? Should I give you the choice? Tan slips flat in the rock. No, Captain. Oh, that's so sad. No, let him make choices. I don't know. It feels a bit mean. That was too cruel. You can go ahead to the cache. Stay away from the Cayman crew. I'll handle the Hoplite. No, Captain. I'll stay with you. The one decision he wants to make, and Sammy never managed to argue. Sammy can never manage to argue. The Hoplite blasted out a long oval crater, then planted itself like a seed in the molten rock at the far end. It only sank a little. It shows how durable these ships are. The ship came in stern first, but it's the prow that ultimately that it's probably ruined. It's scrawled with deep black scars. Every weapon and sensor cut apart. The ship must have tumbled to avoid laser death, but the laser is still scored. Leave it to this fool to land a state-of-the-art fighter and leave it to this fool to land a state-of-the-art fighter and install radioactive glass. Tan snarls. We can't even pull the hull panels. He deploys his work claws and sets to cutting glass while Sammy tries to raise the fighters Vi. VI? Is it supposed to be like AI, like Vi? I don't know. Their armor's radiation alarm shatters briskly. Sammy has the odd thought that this molten fired rock is somehow a twin to Sigma's claw ray. But they can't apprehend the thought or make sense of it. Are these really the same thing, Sammy? fusion torch glass, and some nice pottery. Clay for the kiln, but the kiln is sharp. Is a ship hurtling out of the sky. Also, I think we have seen a work claws. I think we have an idea what the work claws look like. They're like here, and they can like open up. They can open up like this. I think there is like a more specific reference somewhere in the maybe the Planeswalker's Guide. I think I want to say or somewhere, but the Hoplite's upper surface is mostly free of glass, which makes sense as it wouldn't sink too deep into the molten rock. Hoplite is supposed to be light enough to float in water. Yeah, and like a lot of people kind of like don't know this, but it makes sense that you wouldn't. Is that lava is still like, even though it's liquid, it's still rock, so it's actually still very, very heavy. So a lot of things can actually still float on lava. Sammy read that in Stormcutter's number 2987, which sounds like a manga or not manga, a comic, which is the newest edition they've got. I mean, mangas are comics, and if they've made the hoplite heavier in the last 2 years, those Sunstar Knights really don't know what they've got. Misses the whole point of the design. Oh, and there's a hard access point. Well, maybe it's not a comic. Maybe it's more like a manual or something or like a car magazine. Sammy flips to a carabiner of interface adapters and plugs in. Hello, I'm alive. A human voice says, "Yes, we want to keep you that way. They killed the Vi, the free company. They called it up and killed it." Like what? Like it just deleted it? The last thing it did was give me manual control. It made me promise to apologize to anyone I cooked. I'm sorry, my hand. I'm bleeding. It's a two-seat fighter. Is there anyone else in there with you? She's not here. What? I'm alone. Yeah, Raphael's sister, Raphael. We'll get you out. Can you open the cockpit? The hatch, the ladder. It won't answer. There should be a topside rescue hatch. You've got to be careful because the controls are probably near the ejection handle. Semiotic standard means the ejection handle will be a T-shape and the rescue hatch will be a circular pool. Can you find that? Things are gray. Gray as in dark or gray as in you're colorblind? Oh no, what's your name? Afrael, of just Afrael. Yeah, of the Monoliths, but that's a Monolith's name. And a Sunstar Free Company fighter. No wonder they were shooting at him. He's stolen the ship. Sammy gestures urgently to Tan and Miami. Get back, get back, get back, get back. Tan gestures with his work claws. You want me to stop now? You want me to stop now? Yes, get back, Sammy gestures. There's no gesture to say he might take Sekar and turn into a black hole. Yeah, which he ironically threw away only means committing Sekar. And once again, I talked about the color alignment of Sammy, where Sammy clearly has like a bit of the red with his emotional connections, but he's white with like the idea of like upholding his promises and having like a very strong sense of morality. But it's like this idea of red. It's like a combination of red and white, like doing what's right, but also having like a strong, very strong, like appealing to your emotions, like doing what you feel is right potentially. And obviously he takes promises very seriously, like personal promises especially. And then Tunnock is interesting because he's red and he seems extremely loyal to Sammy. So it could be like the idea of maybe like he's letting his emotions guide him in the sense that he's just extremely loyal to Sammy because he feels it's right, as opposed to like any sit back, crunch the data. Why should I hang around Sammy? It's like I should because I like Sammy and they're a cool person to hang around. Yes, get back, Sammy gestures. There's no gesture to say he might take Sekar in terms of a black hole. Well, the only thing is, like, I don't think he would. Well, he at least wouldn't. I don't think if you're in a situation, I don't think he would intend to hit you, because even if he did have a Sekar, it's like the whole point is that you take down like an enemy with you, I think, if possible. But I guess the idea is maybe he might take it and then they might accidentally hit Sammy in the crossfire. Afrael, just Afrael, Sammy calls. I'm Captain Sammy and my friend is Tunnock. We're going to get you out. Also, this is another display of, like, you know, Sammy's more like the idea of like caring about other people, even if you know another personally, which is like a bit white alignment. We'll get you fixed up. You're going to live. My friend's cutting the cockpit to get you open. Also, I keep cutting it to cut pie. Also, Sammy's clearly like a scoundrel archetype, but he's kind of like a scoundrel with a heart. They're kind of like the scoundrel with the heart of gold archetype, which again makes sense with the red white. Like this idea of like maybe doing stuff like not by the numbers, maybe doing something more chaotic because it's based on your emotion, but like you still have your heart in the right place. Like definitely like a chaotic good red white vibe. My friend's cutting the cockpit to get you out. You're going to live, understand? Yes, I want to live, which you heard because the angel let Afrael go because he said he wanted to live. Can you tell me, is anything bad going to happen if you die? I won't go to paradise. I have to live. You have to live, Afrael. You have to live. People keep telling me that, Afriel says, but I don't know why. So definitely interesting, like, commentary on almost like suicidal thoughts and the idea that you may not recognize your own worth. Like, I feel like everyone's been there where it's just like, I don't know why anyone likes me. I don't know why anyone hangs around me. I'm a shitty person. And then it's like, well, maybe other people don't perceive you as shitty as you think you are. You've got to live, or my friend here is going to think it was a complete waste of time coming after you. A weak laughed. Okay, I can live for that. Got it. Tam peels away a cell of cockpit panel. Underneath is a hole of the hoplite lattice work. Big enough for a person, not a cab. Captain, you're going to have to wiggle your hips in there, and do not move. Sammy obeys the stranger's orders. Technically, calling up 360-degree view on their armor isn't moving. So Sammy has like a camera. The crater rim is lined with armed cav. Most of the weapons aren't pointed at Sammy though. Tanuk, you have violated the terms of your exile. Stand up and show your stomach. Oh god. Go on. What would happen if Sammy didn't go after the hoplite? If Sammy weren't, these are like really cute. If Sammy weren't Sammy, there was no intervention or revision required to make Sammy go after the crash hoplite. That's just who Sammy is. But since you care, also once again, I'm starting to understand that I think whatever's talking about this might be like metatextually like exist in the universe, the story itself. So I'm wondering if they're gonna explain what the voice is, because they're definitely leaning more towards it, especially with the last story, main story, where night guy, since Sir Vondam was talking about how like basically there might be something like bigger pulling the strings. That's because like because of the fact that the Angels' calculations were off, which is extremely rare, and some weird shit's probably happening if that's the case. But since you're curious, if Sammy weren't Sammy and they didn't go after that crash ship, the pilot of the hoplite would be dragged from his cockpit, questioned, and hauled off to a very different fate. In many possibilities, this fate is summary execution. Sammy and Tunic would have found a stasis cast, refilled the Seriema with no trouble, and delivered me to the Metalman. Okay, so this is actually the artifact talking, it seems, which is interesting. The Metalman would have discovered what he goes on to discover and delivered me where I want to go. I'd be on the precipice of success, and I would fail. Pinnacle knows too much. Pinnacle is parasitized by the feckless Drex, and the Drex know too much. Every possibility of success bottlenecks at an infinite guideline. So it seems like basically what they're saying is this artifact can see multiple futures, and it's kind of like the Doctor Strange, like Avengers, like how many timelines do we win? One. Only one timeline where we win. It makes me wonder what this artifact is. Is this artifact Eldrazi related? Because they talked about in the side story like Tannic being turned into a proto being, like some sort of Eldrazi. It also shows like that how like what the Drix are doing with the Pinnacle. It seems like the deal is that the Drix deal with Eldrazi shit, which also explains why the Pinnacle are following it, because the Pinnacle has something in the game, which is I don't want Eldrazi shit running around Pinnacle space, basically, which is a fair enough concern. Every possibility but one. Pinnacle must be disrupted. Sothera does not belong to Pinnacle. Sothera does not belong to the Cav or the Emans or the Monois, or the Sunstar Faith. Sothera's true master loves me as it loves all parts of itself, and very soon it will reach and claim those scattered parts. You understand, though, that none of this could happen. Without a drastic intervention, you're never keeping Sammy away from that crashed hoplite. Sammy loves ships, and Sammy loves a stray. Kind of funny because looking for cats. So, again, I'm wondering, is this thing Eldrazi wept, or is it like somehow a piece of the star itself? Because we do know, like, for example, when stars they collapse, that's how Angels created. So it wouldn't be like the first time something's emerging from like a dying star of some sort. Revision 11, Exile Tunuk. Tan is small for a calf. That makes him a good pilot. Makes the sight of all those giant armored figures closing in him harder somehow. If Sammy has one principle, it's sympathy for the little one. Think fast, Sammy. Look fast. So here's the art they're using. Obviously, I don't think it's one-to-one because it doesn't sound like you're just running towards them at the moment. But here we can. Memorial Team Leader. 3 generic, 1 red for 4 mana total. Creature Kavu Soldier. During your turn, you get control, you get +1/+0. Warp. You may cast this card from your hand for you already know what Warp does. Recover the treasures in Caveron's Memorial Vaults by any means necessary. So I mean, it's a pretty basic card. Flavor wise, they're a team leader, so they want you to play as many creatures as possible, and the more creatures you have, the more things are to get +1/+0 to. And kind of Warp in, I assume, because it's some relation to a spaceship, because that's the Memorial teams probably usually move. This is a very interesting piece of art. We're gonna look at the full art here. A very interesting piece of the art here. Obviously, I feel like is it missing like a chunk of the? Yeah, hold on. It's kind of like weirdly cropped where you can't see. You can't see the. Okay, we're gonna go with this. So obviously they want to convey it's a very red card because they have this red beam effect and look like this trail following it. So it's a very interesting way to like kind of grab your attention and follow the trail to like this weapon. and this person holding the weapon, and it's very like obviously red because it's a red card, and then it's glowing and hitting this person. And there's obviously like a lot of orange. The Cavs use a lot of orange in this plane. And in contrast, the Cav are all like bright orange and using like red weapons, which is very attention grabbing with like some bits of like bright greenish yellow. And then the rest of the plane is actually sort of like a bluish shade. Like it's a lot duller and cooler colors, which helps pop the contrast like way more. Just so you like it draws attention to these people way more. Like they're an abnormality. They're not like part of like the landscape. They're not trying to camouflage either. They're coming at you. Like they're not like they're contrasting landscape very much. And here this almost acts like a bit of a frame, I guess. Like it comes around here, so like there's like this little area and in which this person's head is in. And then you get this person, the way they're moving is they're moving fast and they're leading in, like they're moving so fast, like they kind of have to lean to control like their movement a bit, which is nice. And there's like all this powder and like dust. Like this is a very like rocky, like dusty surface, like almost like ash being kicked up. So this is a very well done piece. Obviously the leader is the main character, the leader is closest to the most detailed, but there are people in the background, which is basically the card's like artistic way of saying, hey, you want to play this card with other creatures. this card is at its best and strongest when there's other creatures to play with. It doesn't want to attack alone. It's attacking with other people. It also helps show that it's a very offensive card. Like this isn't like a knight like holding like stalwart and then helping defend its crew. This is like someone going in for the kill and then the others following. Also, once again, Cap technology seems to be very blocky, like more blocky than usual, like hard edges and hard shapes, almost rectangular and square, more square than like some of the smoother shapes we've seen around. Just so you, all the major species in this, so they have been given very strong like identities as far as technology goes, so that we can usually clearly identify at least who it used to belong to or who made it and who it belongs to, etc. And even these people in the background, interesting that like their eyes are glowing, like it's very menacing, like all their shit's glowing. Almost like they came out of like nowhere. An art by Andrew Marr. The commander is a subdar, a field soldier with experience handling off-worlders, the kind of cav who knows Simers and Pinnacles, knows Simers and Pinnacles laws. Sammy knows Kavar pretty well and guesses her for a female or a core male. I don't know what a core male is. I guess maybe trans. That's maybe the only thing that kind of makes any sense. I don't know if I guess that would imply, I don't know if this card is supposed to be specifically a female. I guess that implies potentially some sort of like maybe ridges or sexual dimorphism. I don't know. Honored Sebadar, Sammy sends in his very best Imperial Kafar. This disaster stamped over us. We threw ourselves underfoot to help. The pilot can't run our fight. Help us pry him out of his death stupor. The radio shrieks and clips the volume limiters. Sammy winces. Jammed. Message received. Shut up. Tanuk, the Subdar sends as her officers fan out behind her. By the break, you're Tanuk. These your buyers. You bring them here to loot your cache. No, Tanuk says, so relax his ankles tremble. He wants to be on his belly, but he stands tall. We just came for a stasis cast to hold something dangerous. Something you brought to Caveron. Something you wanted to sell to this. The Cedric's crested helmet twitches down hope light. This wake criminal. So yeah, I guess this would imply that maybe, I don't know if this is true. This could be me misreading, but I guess maybe females have crests or bigger crests or something. I'm not exactly sure how to interpret that comment. We don't know the ship. It followed us down. You don't know them, but you rush to help them. I obey my captain. They want to help the pilot. Not in command. The Sebdar's helmet swivels to Sammy. This human is your captain. This human knows who you are. Sammy's had enough of people talking about them. They take a slow breath and pop their helmet. The gunpowder and egg smell of Caveron that rushes in. They sneeze. Their ears pop as the pressure drops sharply. That doesn't sound good because it sounds like you're surrounded by radiation. So I'm not sure you should be doing this. Caveron simply doesn't have as much air as it used to. They yawn. Their ears make a crackly noise. That's going to hurt. Okay, they shout. Enough of the recovery story. Tan, tell them the truth. Tan doesn't move. Captain, is that wise? He knows exactly how to play along. Tanuk is under my protection, Sammy calls. My name is Samuel, the covert cutter Siriema. We serve the monastery of the True Faith at Sister Secundi, which you call Anuki. I'm here to recover an agent who skipped the Free Company the information of terrible concern. Tell them, Afrael. They kick the Hoplight's cockpit sharply. Yes, the Sunstar Free Company plans to destroy Sothera, Afrael intoned, to deny us our 1,000th catenation with Point Prime. Walls, Sammy burst. This Afrael has a wild imagination. He may be overplaying his story a little. The Subdar stares down at them. Punched rust streaked armor of her Navy Memorial team blurs into the basalt around them, bristling with wardrobes and filament axes. Is that what this is? A filament axe? This was like a filament axe. It was like a piece of thread that's maybe energized. I assumed it was a beam. It could also be, the name could also just refer to the fact that the beam is almost like a filament. Obviously, laser weapon or laser plasma-esque weapon, like common trope, like lightsaber-esque almost. So the hunch also rust streak because there's like a lot of reddish coloration just in general with the kind of like red, orange, like this rustic color, which makes sense because of the planet and like also like comparisons like Mars and stuff. Blurs into the basalt around them, bristling with wardrobes and filament axes. They're still as farmers hiding from the brushworm. Distant thunder crashes against the volcanic rock. Monoliths, pirates, and weight criminals, as Subdar says. Tunuk, you keep suspicious company. I do, Tunuk lies, because that's how his captain decided the story would go. I do it for Kavarod. The Sunstar Free Company has to be stopped, or it means the end of everything. If you hurt him, Sammy calls, Point Prime will know. They expect our signal. This mission is of the highest interest to the true faith. I caution you to let us go. If we vanish, their search will begin with you, Subdar. Not smart to threaten me, human. Solar Knights would be curious to know you're in custody. You guys over to them, you'd help them destroy Zothera. A Cap chuckles. Now that is an artless camouflage. Then tell me why a Free Company ship shot down one of its own fighters. Tell me why a man named Aphrael was forced to commit weight crime just so he could land. Why would anyone come to this dead place by choice? A quake rattles their teeth. You're asking a lot of questions for someone who's an accessory to a weight crime. The Subadar's great helmet swivels and long pause. You have my curiosity. Prove you're with the Monoliths, and we will escort you to the strike town at Toro Duend. Excellent. We will detain you until Sister Secundi verifies your identity. Sivdar says, over Samuel's leave. Tunuk will remain with us. He's under my protection. You get the weight criminal, we get Tunuk. I'm being more than fair. No, Sammy snaps. Tunuk is my familiar. You think he committed a crime. I know you think he put his hands on the traces of Fate's carriage. But he is beloved of Inavita, Aphrael says, sovereign of his free will. Enough. The Sivdar jabs into the fucking chaos. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna see if I can find the fucking meme. Where is the no, where are you? Not in general. I want you to search. If I can't find it in time, I'll probably just, I swear to God, someone posted it on Tumblr and it was the funniest shit. Here you go. I think I'm close to it. I think I can feel myself onto it. Oh, here's this. Now I understand the reference. This is what I'm going through. If anyone give a fuck, falling through space. Okay, that's pretty good. Maybe one day I should just have a stream where I go through like my memes. I think I lost a lot of them because one time all my files got corrupted, but I might have enough to show off anyway. Like if I can go look around for them. Please show me the meme. Um, Here's another one. Embarrassing. This girl thought glory and honor were real things, and has only now realized her death will be nothing but feeding the meaningless meat grinder. This feels like might be a reference to saying I don't understand what happens yet, but also feels like something a monolith would fucking say. It's really funny. Maybe I type in Tumblr. I don't want to search again, but okay, let's try this. You Tumblr. Official Edge of Eternities game where you try to get home runs against Cesar, and it's hilarious. What the fuck? What? Well, we'll check it out. Check this out later. Hold on. I'm getting distracted. I should be reading the story, but hold on. We're saving that for later. What's going on in the JP? never change. Oh, here's a Magic the Gathering joke. Got this. I like how fantasy card games are like this. Horde Cap World Shaker. If your opponent blinks, you win the game. He loses. It's Infinity. Clearly a rookie's card. Raccoon. You may eat garbage for free during your turn. 1/2. This is the most real MTG post of all time because I'll give you one guess which of these cards was an absolute menace in standard and had to be banned, and which one hasn't seen play since getting reprinted. Progenitus, legendary creature, hide your avatar, protection from everything. Progenitus would be put anywhere from the graveyard, shuffle into your library instead. The Soul World has returned, and then Heartfire Hero, Mouse Soldier, Valiant. It's really funny. I do think it's funny that this card doesn't have to tap. Like I feel like they kind of understand Magic. Like there's a card, a 1/2 that probably costs like 1 or 2 mana that you enters the battlefield, doesn't need a tap, so it's not affected by summoning sickness to eat garbage as a response, and then no mana payment, as opposed to a card that probably casts like fucking that much. And I think this is probably a Yu-Gi-Oh card reference, but probably costs like 20 billion mana. Like Progenitus costs like 10 mana, each of like a specific color combination. I know I said it'd stop, but now I'm sunk cost fallacying this. I have to finish this. Here it is. I fucking found it. Oh my god. Here's the entire story in a nutshell. If you don't want to see it for the whole stream or the rest of the streams, here you go. Oh yeah. Wow, these are so weird. Thank God I'm the only normal person here. This is literally what the entire story's felt like. Like, thank God I'm the only normal person here, and fucking Sammy with fucking I'm on solo. Especially with the monoliths like Sumas like conflict, where it's like they're so weird, unlike us who are normal and not weird. Oh, I haven't followed Get Rob there. There we go. Enough. The Subdar jabs one-fisted Sammy. The offer's rescinded. I need Monastery Ident now. The air fills with the buzz of Cav filament access coming to life. The proof is in the cache, Sammy says, grambling wildly. We came to retrieve a stasis cask. We need to contain a damaged singularity bead on my ship. That bead is my link to Point Prime, the signal I'll use to send Afrael's intelligence to the Monasterian. You understand? Bring us back to my ship and I'll show it to you. The odds are the Subdar has never seen a singularity bead. Maybe heard of one during her education about the greater world. Will she take the Stranger Stone for what it is, for what it isn't? Maybe. You brought a trap singularity down to Caveron, this Subdar sends. Well, Sammy says, it could hardly make things worse, could it? That's a really fucked up thing to say. All things considered. Oh, yeah, I mean, your plan's kind of already gone to shit, so I mean... After a moment, the Subdar laughs. She looks to her left and to her right, and Sammy's surprised to find that they can hear the other capsulars laughing too. Imagine aliens wouldn't laugh, but the Cav evolved with a desperate need to signal contagious relief. All right, the Subdar sends. We'll get you your stasis cast for Singularity and take you all to Taru Duend. Sammy exhales. The inhale afterward is sharp with the taste of metal. Radiation from the hope. Yeah, stop. Put your fucking mask, your helmet back on. Radiation from everyone in this story has been taking like a fucking beating. Radiation from the hoplites drive. They reach for their helmet, fumble with the seals, and finally get it back on. Tunuk, the Subdar, says, "Did you ever find any old coins? Kios, staters, aximonies? Yes. I found an old Kios today. The Subdar produces from her armor. I spindle metal like a calf horn hair, which is pointed at the end and a snub and a snub end. She has no trouble handling it, even with her large gauntlets. Call the flip then. Don't make me, Tunuk whispers. Don't make him do that, Sammy shouts. They try to run for Tunuk, but the two of the big caveman salvagers are in the way and wider than walls. Sammy tries the hands dance on them, grab and squirm like it's wrestling boulders. Call the flip, point or notch. It wasn't like this it wasn't like this one I chose, Tunuk says. I knew what I was doing. I just chose wrong. Choose right this time. I won't call it, Tunuk says as the Subdar pinches one end of the quill-shaped coin and tosses it. Volcanic wind sifts glass over the broken plains. The coin tumbles like a quill from a blackbird. Tunuk is silent. Point, Sammy screams. The coin lands on the rocks, spins around its center like a clock face, catches the wind, spins again, checks up against a stone. Its point facing the Subdar. Point, the Subdar says. More chance than you gave your victims, Tunuk. Obviously, ominous backstory foreshadowing, but also interesting that it probably shows a bit why, like, maybe Tunuk trusts Sammy so much, is that Sammy, like, who's to say this was pure luck, but I get the vibe that Sammy does know what they're doing to an extent, especially when it comes to, like, doing things on the fly. So this might also help convey why Tunuk might trust Sammy so much. I gotta make sure I actually close that Discord so I can see Twitch chat. The cat pulled the stasis cast out of Tan's old cache and Afra out of the downed hoplite. Then, like they were playing a children's adventure game, they combined the two items they found. Afra was bleeding pretty badly, so the cat shoved him into a stasis cask and turned it on. So it looks like Afra managed to survive the sudden momentum he would have gotten. Sammy doesn't get to see Afra or the cache. Tan says it looks like a big buried balloon full of inert gas. You have to wear a breathing mask to sleep inside. So the KMN teams call them rotors or run outside, tear off respirator, because that's what you're supposed to do when you wake up. They sound kind of like the inspection sheds. Tunuk makes a noise of incomprehension. Where you found me back on Sigma after I passed out? Big soft sack. Tunuk stares at Sammy with indecipherable calf expression. Oh, passed out. Yeah, in the big soft sack. 10, are you okay? He doesn't answer. A Jemadar, a lower rank than Subdar, but of the same form, KMN troops trained to work with off-worlders, leads them to one of the flimsy balloon-wheeled ELVs. So the balloon wheeled seems kind of like it's like maybe meant to invoke the idea of like a rover of some sort. The ELVs, exo-atmospheric law vehicles. Again, fucking nerds writing this, and I love that so much. Rovers, big fans of sci-fi, obviously coming from like the different writers. Cut down the bare minimum so they can be flown between Cavalron before and Cavalron that is on laser-boosted space planes. So they're using like lasers as like a project to launch them. The stasis cask, not much bigger than a washing machine, makes the whole frame of the lead ELV kneel under its weight. They drive for the Siriema. The weather is clear. Light glass fog chimes against the armor. The driver, again, I can't. When you say describe all this stuff, it seems really dangerous that Sammy took off their helmet because, like, what if like a glass rolled in? The driver of their ELV puts on really loud music and roars happily along. A tornado touches down to the east, seeking out a node of warmth to fuel its growth. So I'm assuming how tornadoes are formed, basically it's like warm air and cold air, and they spin around each other. So I guess the idea is like the heat is kind of, and because hot air like rises, so I guess it's like encouraging the spin like process. The Siriema crashes on a sheet of rock blasted clean by her arc jets. The Jemadar riding beside them says, "If your ship has weapons, we'll use the guns. Understand?" The guns of Cavalron, its orbital boost lasers, can be bounced off meters to strike ground targets. I mean, they are lasers. I've always wondered about that because they are lasers, but I feel like if it hit a mirror, it would bounce in every direction. No, I mean, this is the world of magic, so this is like the least. This is like as far as believable things go. It's like, yeah, sure, like cartoon logic bounces off a mirror, but maybe I'm wrong. Because I do know you can bounce lasers off them, but at a certain point, if the laser is that powerful, well, maybe I guess it makes sense. Maybe it just loses power, but it doesn't like stop. I guess that would make more sense. Can be bounced off meters to strike ground targets. Sammy suspects it's a bluff. It would be a minor miracle if they can reach anything on radio, never mind an aerial mirror. But the Siriema has no weapons, so it's a moot point. Sammy drops the ramp. The Kayak haul the stasis cask up into the cargo bay and park it next to the hot cell containing the weird rock from Sigma. Show us your singularity bleed, the Subdar demands. Prove you're a Monos agent, and then you'll fly us all to Taro Duen. There's an airport. We'll commandeer a plane to Cavaron before to remand you to Imperial Authority. After that, you're no longer my responsibility. Yes. Can we Sammy has inspected the hot sail for any sign of weirdness during the long flight from Sigma. It didn't emit so much as spare neutrino. But opening it up again feels like it will release the embryo of dread behind the breastbone. They massage the sternum through their armor and experience a moment of utterly uncharacteristic worldliness. Stop sawing, says Subdar. We'll need to put the singularity bead in the cask with Afrayo. He deserves a chance to take Sekar if he's going to bleed to death. It's a stasis cask. He won't bleed. Fuck. If the Metalman's artifact actually were a singularity bead, Sammy guesses, there might be trouble putting it in a stasis. A stasis cask is engineered space-time, and so is the bead. And if you put them together, perhaps they would have a fight or make love, or otherwise get excited, as you do. But it's not a singularity bead. It's something. Sammy's worried about jamming the stone in there with a living human. I'll prepare the bead for transfer, they say. Tunuk, would you get the stasis? Tunuk will get out of his armor and kneel. The Cav speak by shortwave radio, so all Sammy can hear is the coded draw of their voices filtered through alloy. Tunuk kneels miserably, looking pointedly away from the hot cell. Sammy has to get this exactly right, and then somehow get them free to fly before they're taken off the ship. One step at a time. Prior by other requests. Instead, Cav and Risk Armor pulls the hot cell open. The Metalman's artifact lays in there, in the dark, in a wasp nest of congealed sheer starch. Cav lamps illuminate it. It looks like a spitball. There's no sign of bent light or spontaneous motion. This is your proof, the Subdar radios? It looks like a dropping. We had to keep it from erupting. I used what I had to. Sammy has no idea what will happen now. Open the stasis cask, please. I'll have Afrayo move the singularity bead in with him. Why? I won't let an unbeliever handle the sacred instrument. Please, Subdar, work with me. Subdar, work with me. The cask is pinnacle made, not Cabtech, complete with blue finish and happy little vi that reports all system functions and a stasis radio. And a stasis ratio of 1 to 300 million. It's actually interesting that they mentioned like the color there, because I know that they're sometimes I think they do the writing before the art. Sometimes it's not always 1-to-1, but the pinnacle we do actually see as a kind of like a bluish tint, I guess. It's usually kind of silver and blue and stuff. Like here, like these are blue cards obviously, but what's a good pinnacle? Like Guideline Station, like it's very white and blue and like silver. So very interesting that they note the coloration there. Pinnacle kill shit. What the hell? In 10 years, a bit more than a second will pass inside the cask. So time does seem to pass in the cask. It's just very, very extremely slow. Sammy can't see Aphrodite because the stasis field has a mirror finish to prevent 10 years worth of light building up and baking whatever's inside and outside second. So again, I definitely get the vibe that these authors are big site. Whoever's writing these, Seth Dixon, but also there's some other people like writing the world build, the Planeswalker's Guide. Like they all seem like very big fans of sci-fi because they all think about like really hard about this stuff. Like Miguel Lopez, J. Anelli, Laurel Pratt, Amanda LaFranco. Like they all seem like I thought a lot about this a lot. Like okay, if time's slow, then obviously if light enters, it wouldn't just immediately leave. It'd just be building up. All Sammy sees is his own funhouse production. Pale haired and in need of some new makeup. They wear makeup. Can I see? Hold on. I don't know, maybe, probably. I just took it as like, I could believe it, yeah. You got it, Sammy. The Subadar works on the cask controls. The stasis field vanishes. Sammy peers inside. He kneels in the cask. He is young and pretty. I mean, not Sammy's type, but a type. Like, yeah, I'm not into it, but you know, like, there's people who are, a lot of people into it. But a type, with dark lined eyes, a worried mouth, and a shock of pale hair. He has a surprising amount of flesh on his face for a nothing worshipper. So we do have an Aphrael card. This is what Aphrael looks like. I guess Stuff Drizzling would be referring to the stone that Sam is transporting right now. We're gonna move this damage singularity bead in with you, Sammy informs them. So you have it with you if you need to take Sekar, understand? Aphrael mounts at them. What are you doing? Please, Sammy says calmly. We'll keep you safely in stasis until we can sort this all out with the Imperial government, but you should take the bead. Aphrael squirms out of the cask, cupping his bleeding stump to his chest. His garb is black, sculpted out of dark scalp materials. So the I forget what the kind of armor, you know, the armor that we see them like the mono is wearing. like this kind of stuff, like slipping. I forget what they call it. I knew the name last time I was reading. I don't remember the name of the armor now. Was it Alibi armor? I think maybe. And obviously, I think the smoothness of the armor almost like denotes like the black hole, like with how everything's like bending towards it, and sort of like smooth and warped in a way. Please, Sammy says, his garb is black, sculpted out of dark scalp material. Could it be alloy moments? Oh, I guess the alloy moments, because it's got weird like time properties. Like last time we saw somebody get basically take a bolter shot. It was called a stinger, but it was basically a bolter shot, and it didn't like immediately just blow up and kill them. No, sure not. Surely not. There's a coat or cape over the undersuit, but it has wrapped itself like bandages around his body. He's wet. White plaster or powder spatters him. So I guess that was from like we saw last time in the story. He was in the bathhouse within the Dawn-Sire. So that Dawn-Sire fighting like Halia and stuff. What has he been up to? Why is he really here? If only Sammy could ask. Aphrael looks around at the looming cave, at Tunuk under the Subadar's weapons. I've never been to Cavron before, he says. I thought it was a museum of wonders, all of Cav culture waiting to be rescued into space. That's the other Cavron, Subadar sends. This is Cavron that is. Here we shoot trespassers. Move the object before you bleed to death. Aphrael stumbles towards the open hot cell. Its garish cross-species caution symbols read like a buffet menu at a poison garden. Aphrael's blood's again, it's like one of those nice details. Like if you just had one, not like they definitely could have just been like there's just like a radiation symbol or something, and you definitely would have been like, oh, maybe it's just the symbol everyone uses. But I do like how they like it's in different languages because it's just a nice detail. Aphrael's blood spots the deck. He's having trouble navigating the grid of connectors and tie downs, and Sammy steps on the urge to reach out and help him. Are you going to let us go? Aphrael asked. If you are who you say you are, I'm going to give you to my government. But if the monastery has no idea who you are, then you'll be cachet robbers and accomplices to a vile criminal, and you'll wish I beheaded you here. So I think what Aphrael's probably going to bank on here is that the fact that news of him being alive may not have gotten, or having gone on the mission and having to have died, haven't gotten to the monastery at Sister Secandi. So what he might probably do is call them, and then they'll be like, "Oh yeah, Aphrael, we know that guy." I want to live, Aphrael says, and stumbles into the hot zone. That's becoming like his catchphrase. Be careful, Sammy calls. Ideally, they would have rigged some kind of touchless transfer through a tube. If only there weren't all these KMN troops goons stomping around the poor Siriema. I've got it, Aphrael calls it. It's slimy. That's sheer starch. Leave it be. It's heavier than it looks. Oh no, it's getting lighter. Aphrael, Sammy calls. Come out and get back in the stasis cask. Aphrael emerges. He's holding the weird stone in his hand. It glistens brightly, delightedly. The sheer starch falls in scat. It's falling upward. His feet aren't touching the deck anymore. Sammy's armor grinds out an alert. Stop. Hold there. Aphrael's floating. No, not floating. Falling still. He's not going anywhere. The tips of his garment drift loosely like jellyfish tentacles. He's free-falling down the path of least effort through an impossible space. The Subdar says enough. Enough, kill them. Aphrael just towards the roof of the hold. Raphaela, he screams, I want to die. I want to go with the others. Send me to the Dawn-Sire. Oh, Zaga Choir. I'm sorry. Oh shit. Oh no, I don't want to die. I want to live. So once again, we're giving this back and forth of like, can't decide if they want to die or live. Let me go, wet rat. It also seems like he's reliving. It seems like particularly he's like reliving the events of some of the last story, because he referred to how he has a wet rat. Let me go, Captain Slatslip. Let me go. Oh, Faller, I'm out. I made it. No, stop. No, you let me go. Let me go. Stop. Down. Get me down. I can't go back. I want to live. Don't send me back. I'm warning you. Sammy runs for Tunuk. The Subadar groans. All the Cav groan. It is a low animal sound of anguish. The armor twists and shudders because the bodies are twisting and shuddering. Aphrael's voice changes. Inavita, begin in me thy ending. Chart my wind so I may blow like a shroud. Shrive me. Make me a fringent to the narrow course of the heart. Pair from me fate's gore. Let me begin with thee. Event and event. O Inavita, draw me down. Crush my hands and flatten my feet so I may pass only on the flat way of thy preparation. How perfect, how final you are. Brush me with the omens of thy coming. Eat me with the teeth of my throat. Inavita, my fate and love. Oh, Inavita, I see thy hip. I see thy shoulder. I see thy empty face. Inavita, shear me. I'm wondering, it seems like the stone is having some sort of effect. The stone they're transferring. So, I mean, and I assume this is like, Aphrael's gravity magic also at play. But also, I think the stone's also doing some weird, like, space-time shit. What is a fringent? Fringent, not comparable. Encircling like a fringe boarding. Okay. Aphrael needs a hand. I'm not a god, though I was fashioned for the use of one. I have limits. Okay, again, what are you? There is only one ultimate future, inevitable and converging. What is done, and in the end, it will all come to one end. Looking forward, we see a great infalling pyramid. Worlds converging into the Omega. Um, the past is fluid, but there are many ways to reach the present. So once again, we're kind of getting the idea that like this plane corrects itself. Like if you time travel, everything will kind of like combine into one point still. Like you don't have like a billion timelines running concurrent with each other. Looking backward, we see possibility. Allow me to quote the greats. The usual fallacy is that in every universe, many features splay outwardly from any given moment. But in some universes, determinism runs backwards. Given a universe's state S at some point T, there are multiple previous states that may have resulted in S. In some universes, all possible paths funnel through a single fixed ending, omega. If you are of a millenarian bent, you might call omega Armageddon. If you are of grammatical bent, you might call punctuation on a cosmological scale. Again, this seems like it could be like some other religion, faith. It seems like kind of like a joke. If you're a philosopher's universe, you might call omega inevitable. So basically, I think this is how like the timeline works in this plane. I'm not sure if it works in every other plane. Other planes might have like concurrent timelines. But it's a very interesting take on like time travel. Is the idea that you can travel the past and you may change the past, but it doesn't necessarily influence the future. Which is the thing that you've seen like it's different. Okay, there is like the paradox of the idea that if you time travel to change something, then there's like the idea that you changing it is what causes the future to happen. So in that way, the future is inevitable, right? So if my my dad dies and I shot from like I don't know, like a gunshot, I travel back in time, then me trying to stop that from happening might be what causes the gunshot to happen. And that basically like it's like and that is sort of explains like away the paradox in a way. It's like it will just constantly happen. But this seems to be going like less like that. Like maybe you do stop your dad from dying from that gunshot, but maybe something else like kills him. Or even if he does survive, even though the past is malleable in that way, the future has the same ending. So like maybe even though your dad's alive, you still go out, you will still become a doctor or something. Like it isn't like or something like that. There are many ways to get to one place. I cannot change that place, but I can change the way it is arrived at. I need a wielder who offers me a library of moments to alter. I need a moment vulnerable to influence. Complexity stymies me. The nature of the universe compels me to self-consistency. I cannot leave loose ends. All my alterations must be explained. By chance, if nothing else avails. But now and again, when circumstances are right, I allow myself a miracle. Give Afrael a hand. So I'm wondering if also the idea is that there's many because of the weird timey-wimey shit, what might have happened is that Sammy and Afrael might have failed at several moments, and also Hilea, like things might have gone wrong several moments, but this entity is for whatever reason correcting it. Which is pretty interesting as far as like explaining why like it kind of sort of explains plot armor in of itself. Not that it would have been necessary. Like I could have believed Sammy's just a good talker, but it's an interesting explanation of like plot armor and acknowledging it in universe. And also, hold on, I have a Magic the Gathering meme before I play. So we're showing memes. Here's my. I don't think this gets enough credit. I'm very sad this isn't my most viewed video, but here is my Wizard Money Gang edit. Maybe one day I'll like just go look for like all my memes or something. I also do have like some videos I post, but for now we're just gonna play a little bit of Arena. Maybe one day I'll make a stream where I just go over all my I scour the internet for all my memes that were scrubbed away from my computer, and I will sit through and go through them, and maybe even explain why I chose them. Maybe I should start posting them on YouTube too, like not as videos, but just like as posts. So we're just gonna play the Rakdos burn spell again. Burn deck. Right now, I've just been part of the reason I've been streaming Arena just to give people like a chance to talk if they want to, or trickle in or out, and also because I'm trying to grind enough coins. I really like to stream the Edge of Eternities draft. I'm hoping I can try to make it like beginner friendly, like explain like how like some of the draft tips, but I'm not good at drafting is the thing. So I'm not sure I want to do that yet. Like all I can really say is like Hey, fun fact: you don't have, there's no limit how many versions of a card you can have in drafting. You can have like 5 versions if you can find the cards while you're drafting. Um, and also there's usually like a little place or a pamphlet or something that tells you like what the different archetypes are. So in case anyone's listening, when you're drafting, you don't have to have four or less cards in the deck. You can have like 5 cards as long as you can find it in the draft. I remember one time I went crazy with like 5 Occam Hellhounds, just running amok in like one of the Zender card drafts. If I get enough coins, maybe I'll just draft myself like maybe I'll stream myself like drafting like some other set. I don't know. I'm kind of focused on more just saving up coin for drafting the Edge of Eternities. I'm really excited about that deck. Is that Chocobo Jace? I have not seen that. That is a crazy. Imagine traveling back in time to like when Magic the Gathering was first started and saying, "Hey, Richard Garfield, there's gonna be a Chocobo Jace from Final Fantasy." Yeah, no, yeah, it just happened. Swamp. It might kill something. I'm gonna play. I play Monastery Swift Spear just because immediately swing because I want to get in as early as possible, and then Dreadhorde Arcanist because like next turn I can cast Swift Spear's Teaching, and then Dreadhorde Arcanist can swing and potentially proc that. But this will also drop me a card. But we'll see what happens. Or Thought Their Paradise. I think we won't cast this Swift Spear, even though it does a lot of damage if we do. Because what we can do is, I'm hoping we draw into a land. It kind of depends on if we draw into a land here. Fuck. Okay, well, we can kill the Ornithopter. Maybe I should have saved and just try to cast Light Up the stage, but I think we just want to kick the opponent before they can get going. Swift Spear's Teachings for another creature. And card draw is always nice. I also love this art. I think it's in Awe of the Guild pack or something. I don't know, but seems like a black-white life gain deck of some sort. I'm most curious. So we're gonna Bolt Wave because we just want to proc Light Up the stage because I'm hoping that we get an untapped land and maybe something else we can cast. It's actually pretty good. We could cast Monster Swift Spear. I'm thinking we skewer the critics one of these two because we don't want, they gain a lot of life and they're very annoying. I will kill this because I don't want them getting energy. Soul Warning goes off of any creature, not just their creatures, but I think we can put more pressure. Also, we can just kill it. I forgot. That does happen. Nice. So honestly, it looks like some sort of life gain deck. I think we actually do. We want more creature removal. I'm thinking this might not be a good play, but I'm thinking we want Searing Blood, Molten Collapse, Pyroclasm, and maybe 2 Rolling Vortex. Maybe Skullcrack. Skullcrack could be good because it prevents life gain once you play it. What kind of burst lightning for a Skullcrack? Probably not. We probably shouldn't be cutting our 1-mana stuff, but and then Quarry Steel Cutter for a Skullcrack. And then maybe we do want to put burst lightning in just because nice cheap removal. Like honestly, we might need it more than Pyroclasm. What kind of Quarry Steel Cutter? Let's put burst lightning. So Cloud Strife is just in the game now, I guess. You can now just make your icon Cloud Strife. And I would talk about like the color alignment of like the characters in Final Fantasy if I knew anything about Final Fantasy. I do not know enough to. Okay, I guess that's quick, so I guess I'll play one more game and then I'll hop off. Maybe we can hit Diamond 1 on stream. I haven't been like top what is it 100 in a while. I don't know what the highest rank above here is. I had top 100 like one time in like one of the Ravnica sets. Mid Azure Sea encompasses the westmost of the 3 continents. There lies a rim embraced by the gods, forged by heroes. Her name is Irazora. It is here that your tale unfolds. Eodon is a vibrant planet. So does Final Fantasy have like one like consistent like Like, is each Final Fantasy like a different, like its own thing? Like, or is it like is all the Final Fantasy supposed to be taking place in the same universe, but like maybe like on different worlds or something? Because I know Cloud's not not like in every Final Fantasy game, nor is he the main character in every Final Fantasy game. I'm thinking we keep this. This is pretty good. Three mana. Cute pixel art. Looks like at least green white could be Wooberg. You never know or something, but I'm thinking probably green white. Either way, we just want to go fast. Okay. Jund. Okay, this is pretty good because we can just straight up just kill that thing. I say a thing like that's not a Johnny. Bolt wave. Deal 3. Screw the critics. Once you decide if you want to block your only creature. The top 500 maybe. Number 287. Barbarian Ring and just whip your teaching because we just want to go fast here, I believe. Because they're running more colors than me, so they're probably just gonna play slower generally, just because that's you have to meet all your mana requirements. So I'm gonna play that, give that haste, and then with that we can. Okay, they can concede. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe we just cut burst lightning for play with fire because I think play with fire is just better. It seemed pretty creature focused, so I'm thinking Searing Blood maybe. Maybe we cut Bolt Wave because I know we just won with Bolt Wave, but I feel like we'd probably also win if we just put in like Searing Blood and like Molten Collapse. If we lose this one, I'll swap in Pyroclasm, but we were moving so fast we didn't have a chance to really go wide. So I'm thinking we just go in for face. Phase 2, we'll play Monastery Slow Spear. We're just gonna go in. They might play with fire, remove any small creatures they play if they want to try to block next turn. Goblin Trap Finder. We can just kill that. If your dice, you can mana with that perpetually gets haste. Cost 1 less to cast. We might not want to kill it because it might go off and grab something, but I think we just want to go in. I also don't really know what the deck is because I'm kind of confused running goblins. It looks kind of like a life gain cat deck maybe, but they have a goblin in here for some reason. Surveil. Ideally, we want to land here. Yeah, we'll keep Barbarian Wing. They're gonna bolt this. Fragment Reality. Okay, that's probably a little bit worse because our creatures aren't very big. So, okay, something they're going very fast. We might want to put Pyroclasm. We might want to put Pyroclasm in. Oh no. The being that original creature look at the top some cards of your library. You may sacrifice creature. Oh boy. Okay, we're gonna kill. This is a sorcery, so we have to basically cast next turn. I think we're gonna kill a Johnny now. Interesting that they sacrifice that and not their Raptor, which I think would have made more sense as a sacrifice. Okay. Molten Collapse. I'm hoping that they just don't have enough card draw and then they'll slow down a bit. Why did you tap like that? Tap the Barbarian Ring. So I have black mana to cast Bump in the Night. So one thing about the magic auto tappers I'd be careful of is if land deals damage to you, it's really afraid of tapping it for some reason. So it will just fuck you over because it thinks you don't want to tap it ever. That's not good. I think we're losing this one. They're in blood. It's not bad. I think we still get shit. We either cast Dreadhorde Arcanist and... Okay, I think we just have to cast Searing Blood. I think we still die. I think we have to do 3, 6... Okay. 3, 6, 12. Okay, yeah, they'd kill us. So I'm thinking... We need Pyroclasm. That's what I'm thinking. Okay. This may not be the best. If we do lose, it's going to be unfortunate because that was our rank up. We at least go first here, so that might be a massive advantage. Because we can play Dragon's Rage Channeler, and then if they play something, we just kill it in response. Okay, Dragon's Rage Channeler. I'm just going to play that instantly because I just want to get that on the board. There might be an argument for playing Swiftsphere's Teaching, but I'm thinking... Okay, so we're going to Searing Blood that, I think. Just to damage it and then damage them. We'll Surveil. We need to land here. Yeah, we'll take a mountain. 3 damage. That's big. So since we're going first, I think we can just... I think the first is what's making the difference here. Is when we go first, we can just kill everything as it enters the board. 2/2 white creature token. I would like to switch teaching into Dreadhorde Arcanist, but I think we need to kill Ajani like now. We want to land, but okay, we can try to cast that with Dreadhorde Arcanist later. I think is the plan. I don't think we kill the token. Yeah, I don't think we do. I think we just hitting main hit for 2 isn't that big of a deal right now. We will cast Swiftspear. Swiftspear's Teachings, and we'll just wait, and then that way we can hasten next turn, Mon clap something, and then in response, and then once we swing in, we can play with fire. So I'm thinking Molten Collapse, Anthraptor, if it's still on the board, because they might run to a green card that replaces it. Creature is a return to the graveyard to the battlefield. This creature cannot block it. Oh, now we gotta make choices. Fuck. Okay, we're hoping for Pyroclasm soon. Okay, Barbarian Ring, Dreadhorde Arcanist. It gets haste and prowess. We want to kill Molten Collapse. We want to use Molten Collapse. Throw that away. We don't need that. We swing. It's kind of a hard choice. Okay, Searing Blood. Our Dreadhorde Arcanist might die here, but don't need you. We need a Pyroclasm. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, in that order. Okay, at least it says flying now. It's a 3/1 in the air. We can tap Barbarian Wing to sack attack and destroy something. Oh. Yeah, cast spell. I probably should have put in like the graveyard hate. I didn't realize how much they were using the graveyard. Fuck. Okay. Kill you. Luris the Dream is pretty good right now just because it does have life gain. Surveil, Screw the Critics. We might need to. That might be our only way. It's not good. I prefer Pyroclasm, but this has to attack. We don't have a choice. God damn it. Okay, well... That's just greedy. They're doing it. They're doing it so they have more bodies to swing with. Oh well, yeah. I think that's it. I think I misplayed that. I think I should have put in. I should have swapped in my graveyard hate, my 1 minute graveyard hate, in hopes that we drew into it, and then that way I could have. Honestly, we can probably do a couple games. I want to see if I can hit Diamond 1, but I probably could have swapped in the graveyard hate, and then that way they wouldn't. It would just shut down like their all that shit. I just didn't realize they had that in their deck, so I didn't realize how much they relied on the graveyard. I thought it was just like a few cute tricks to like bring stuff back. I didn't realize it was like basically a Naya graveyard sort of thing. We'll keep. Probably not the best hand, but surveil. We'll keep a play with fire up because we can ping for face to scry, or we can kill something. We cannot kill that because okay, the reason I can't kill this is because they can discard a card, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. So if I try to kill that with 2, they'll just discard a card and bring it up to 3 toughness and it won't die. Which is why Psychic Frog is such an annoying card. Is because it's really hard to just kill it with damage. You need a lot of damage to actually kill it, as long as they have cards in their hand and they're playing Demir. So like. What I need is that my Molten Collapse card because it just destroys creatures. Like you're probably not gonna kill out anything with damage. Okay. Bolt Wave. Bump of the Night. Dragon's Word Shooter. I think we're gonna lose this turn. Well, we'll see. Psychic Frog is just really annoying and very powerful. So, and they're also playing Esper, it looks like. Surveil. I don't know what we're really looking for. I'm gonna land though. I don't know if that really does anything either though. Like I don't know what's better than that, but I think we just want something that strikes for 3 because I think they're kind of at 6, so we can kind of just swing, I believe. Also, my dead. Okay. Keep the sheriff. Now, where is that W? I actually do want to talk about a bit about the Thunder Junction a bit because I don't think people realize there are like factions. Like they do have like and stuff. So, but there's a lot of stuff you talk about Magic that I probably won't get to for a while, realistically. Especially since Magic's still releasing content. Unearth. We change our oh. Cool. We're in trouble. Frankly. Okay, so we don't get to hear about the graveyard. We might be able to still. Wow, they got life gain. I don't think we win this. Right, can't block attack unless it's similar. I mean, they couldn't attack our block. We might win this, but I think it's just better just to get to the point. And by point, I mean Stone of Eric and Disruptor Flute. and Molten Collapse. We kind of have an awkward choice. If we could draw a swamp next, like a Rakdos or whatever, it's great. But oh, interesting. Discard. They do lose 2 life though, and we do like damage on the opponent. Okay, interesting. They just choose to discard that. I'll play this. And then if they want to keep throwing stuff in my graveyard, that's fine. Hopefully Dreadhorde Arcanist can proc it or something. Surveil. Now we got our black mana. Hopefully we get... actually, we might want to keep that. I'd rather have a Mount of Swamp or something, but I think we just kind of have to keep it just because it's card draw and it helps proc Surveil. Psychic Frog. We can kill that. They might have a counter spell. But for 1, surely it has to be like pay 1 mana or something, right? Or at least we get Surveil. Could be hexproof though. Okay, I'm not dealing damage to you though. So you can discard all the cards you want. Okay, fair. I guess I'll keep that. Just because I can draw, I'm just about to draw it immediately. Draw. Okay, yeah, I got it. I don't think we want to swing. If we swing, Psychic Frog pumps up and kills our shit. I think what we want to do is we want to try to keep Dreadhorde Arcanist alive if possible, because that way, if we can pump it up with a Quarry Steelcutter on it, we can potentially give it 2 power, and then potentially cast Molten Collapse from our graveyard. Anyway, bump of the night. Right now we can give Lurrus Haste and Prowess once we play it next turn, or Dreadhorde Arcanist, which is pretty good. Having 2 Dreadhorde Arcanists is not bad, because we can put 1 in with haste, swing, and then I get 2 spells from my graveyard. There's a pain in the ass that this draws a card. I mean, we might want to chump block. Okay, I think they realize that it might be in our best just to chump block that. Prowess and haste. Maybe it gets countered. Who knows? I'll play Lurrus. I probably shouldn't, but I'll play it because they're probably gonna counter it or something. Yeah. Could be worse though. At least we have our Dreadhorde Arcanist, so now we can do this. So 1 will activate. Surely it'll activate. Okay, well, I thought that would proc differently, but whatever. It's still big. We still also get Prowess, so they're still in danger. Stone of Eric. We can sacrifice Stone of Eric, I guess, to draw a card if we need to. So now they have to block. They're probably gonna block. Oh, really? I guess they don't want to discard too much. We'll cast Dragon's Rage Channeler. We'll see what they do. I want to see if they counter it, because you know, keep in mind if they have counter spells, you don't always want to play your best spells first. I think a lot of, especially new players, will just try to play like all their cool spells immediately. But if you know they have counter spells, you might want to see if you might want to try to bait out the opponent. But you don't only want to bait them out. You want to switch it up every once in a while, because you want them to be them guessing as to which spell they should actually counter. And then that happens. So that was pretty good round. Do we run roiling vortex? Because I think it just puts pressure. They aren't getting life, but I think it puts pressure on them. But the problem is we might just get kicked in by psychic frog. So we might lose more life. Relatively. I'll put in roiling vortex. Probably risky. Disruptor fruit, we can declare psychic frog or something. Surveil, land, please. Something that immediately we can immediately play. Okay. We might be in a little bit of trouble, but consider. I think we just kind of have to play Monastery Swift Spear. Because at least next turn, if they don't have anything, we can let this. Okay, I mean, or you can counterspell it. I see you're very upset with my game plan. And I knew they were going to counterspell that because they paused. Because they paused because they were thinking about something. Yeah. Stone of Eric, maybe? I don't know. If I were in their position, I wouldn't really know what to get rid of. I'd probably just get rid of Stone of Eric just because I don't want them to be exiled in the graveyard. But yeah. Oh, okay. Corey Steelcutter. Hopefully, if we have a Sword Quarry Steelcutter, we can play with fire into lap the stage next turn to get a creature on the board. At least something. They really don't want us to play the game, but they don't. They kind of. Can they do this forever? Is my question. Can't attack or block. Can't attack or block at the moment. Unless there are 7 more cards in exile. So we're fine. Let's get our lands, please. Brother. If they don't play Psychic Frog, we can hopefully get Disruptive Flute down and declare Psychic Frog. That is definitely on the game plan. Because that'll be a huge boon for us. Oh, thank God. Okay. They might counter it. I'm not as worried, but if they do, we just play with fire. Or we can even... Well, I mean, we don't have all day to cast play with fire. It will go away at the end of this turn. So I'm thinking... Psychic Frog. Even has a little art, that's cute. Play with fire. What you got? What you gonna do about it, Mo? Can I counter it? I'm not seeing a lot of stuff in your exile. We need more land. 100%. I'm hoping they don't reach this exile point, because this thing has life gain, and that'll be annoying. Cycling. Exile, period. Okay. You. Barbarian Ring. We have enough to activate its ability if we need to. So they're probably going to counter that. We might save our play with fire, maybe? Okay, fair enough. I think we save play with fire. We'll just ping them this turn. Oh, that might be enough for their thing to attack now. Not good. The creature is demonic in nature. No swing? Fuck. Okay, I think we have to cast Play with Fire now because we can use it to scry. Don't need that. The game just has it out for me. If they um if they mana cost, can I do this in response? I don't know if I can. Yeah, I think that might be it. Because they just came with this out heal damage. Maybe we should have put in oh wait, I did, I think. Yeah, that is no good. Skewer the critics. July spell, counter spell. Alright. You know what? Doesn't matter, I'll play one more game and I'm playing my flash deck. Or are you? Are you the right flash deck? Growth Spiral, Night Bounded, Rewind. I think this is the version of the deck I was running. Playing. I'll play Thornwood Falls first because we can't cast anything turn 1 anyway. Gain life. First one I've seen people playing like a Strider Engines deck in a while. Creature gets +1/+0 until the end of the turn. Max speed creature still straight. I do think that the max speed thing is kind of like a flavor miss. I think ideally at max speed how it worked is there would be ways for your speed to drop. Like if I don't know if you don't attack enough or something, but an Oxygeneer, Goblin Artificer. We'll do this. I just want to scare him. I can't block it, but I want to let him know. What a weird sound. Sounds almost like a computer shitting itself. I'll play a tapped under Overgrown Tomb because I don't think we can cast anything anyway. Exhaust. Other creatures you control get haste. House Square. I think we're getting shit on. We're probably not just gonna make it to Diamond today at all. Swings. Well, we can do this. We can cast Omen of the Sea to pump that up. So now we can block the token. Scry 2, draw a card. We'll take we don't need the land, but we'll take Fading Hope. Block you. And now we're a lot better because now we have more options. And we have the Hope Ender Quaddle. I'm not paying the 2 for the land just because I'm afraid of how much damage they're gonna do if they swing in quickly. I'm hoping we can cast Hope Ender Quaddle and then Impact Tremors. Maybe we just counter that. Mystic Snake. You're in red. What are you responding with? Are you gonna bolt that thing? Ironborn Cutthroat? Yeah, that's what I thought. So Mystic Snake doesn't really do anything when it's on the field besides be a 2/2 body, so I'm more willing to just block with it. They really don't want to swing with the drag. Oh, they do. Yeah, we'll block that. Thank you. Okay. Maybe I didn't need to tap that. Maybe I didn't need to pay 2 for that, but I'm hoping we can cast like something. I don't know. Right at the beginning of your end step, you attack this turn, create 1/1 goblin token. Well, we can at least bounce. Yeah. Maybe we want to keep our stuff up so that we can get a Night Pack Ambusher. We'll do this. Because I can't cast anything else their turn, we can bounce House Squad Heavy just fine. Oh, what? How'd you pay for that? I misread. I did not interpret that correctly. What? Max speed at 1. Oh, it's at max speed. It didn't always have that. Ow. Okay. I guess we want Brazen Borrower probably. Or Aether Gust. Aether Gust could be really good here. Okay, we're cutting our 1 mana spell to put an Aether Gust. And then also a Brazen Borrower. We might, because they're in red, I doubt they'll have anything to really deal with Ashnux Erasure, maybe. Rest of the Wisp. It's hard to tell what's going on to make Pierce glitching the fuck out, but in real life. Probably should have played Zach Got the Triumph first, but I'm thinking if worst comes to worst, we can some like weird goblin speed deck. Worst comes to worst, we can cycle it. We have 2 options here. We have Jawari Disruption and Ironborn Cutthroat. Jawari Disruption. Once we hit 4 mana, we'll be pretty solid if we can stop them from getting on the board before then, because that way we can cast Rewind and we get the chance. Now we have Hope Underquaddle as an option. Yep. I think that comes back from the graveyard. No. I mean, cast covering the graveyard by paying 3 generic, 1 red, except for the cards. Well, I can't cast this moment, but we're at least making a payment and ask for them to do anything. We maybe could play the Omen of the Sea this turn just to hopefully draw into like drawn to a land, but I'm thinking we just play Zagoth the Triumph, and then we Zagoth Triumph, and then play Brandborn Cutthroat or something, or Omen of the Sea later. I'm worried about Fanatical Firebrand because they can't sacrifice it, but they need to tap it. So I'm hoping they swing or something with it. Okay, since it's swinging with only one, we can just block that and prevent them from getting speed, unless we get shocked. Okay. I think we just gotta bite the bullet. I don't think it makes any sense to cast Brandborn Cutthroat just to sack it, so. Oh, fuck. Oh my god. Well, you know, my bad. But at least we have 4 mana, so now we can cast Rewind. I'm still waiting to see Boost God on the card. We're probably gonna take a hit here, but I feel like we don't want to get Night Ambusher killed just because Night Pack Ambushers, because it makes tokens as actually because it makes tokens as it just persists. Shipwreck Moloch. Create a token. I feel like much more confident about how this will go because now we have Rewind and I'm gonna see a Night Pack Ambusher, which I feel like is pretty good, and we have all the lands we need to cast at least one of them. Yeah, so wait, can I not counter that? Why can't I counter it? Oh, Cavern of Souls. Yeah. Well, they're about to hit max speed, which will then allow them to cast a bunch of mana, but okay. Night Pack Ambusher. Do your thing. They at least make each other bigger, so Bolt, whatever that spell was you cast earlier. Torch Tower. Now they can cast Squeak. I think it's for each goblin you control. Yeah, so then they hit max speed. I can cast Squeak from the graveyard. Again, we have a choice between Omen of the Sea and I think we want to cast Omen of the Sea just because we want to headland here, and there's no guarantee we'll be able to counter whatever they cast anyway. So we'll take a swamp. Probably shouldn't, but I'm thinking we can at least have 4 mana out of this. We'll leave Night Pack Ambusher up to block. Unfortunately, we don't get the token because at least they can't like fully commit. So I can get +1/+0 until the end of the turn. So that's kind of scary. And it has double strike. So I think if we somehow win this, we want to cut out Rewind in our counter spells for something like Ashiok's Erasure, just because it's not technically a counter spell, but it does stop spells from happening. What do you mean good game? Can you spam that? Oh, I didn't realize. Yeah, that's enough. Anyway, this deck still needs more work just because I need to get all the cards for it. It doesn't have all the cards. I want like more Urtais, for example, because Urtai comes in, destroys something, or counters a spell. Also, we drop the ring, which is the opposite of what we want to do. But anyway, I think it's all for me for now. If you stop by for even a moment and look at this fucked up screen that happens when I play Magic the Gathering too long, thank you for stopping by, even if it was only for 5 minutes.